Good afternoon, friends. I'm Dr. Ajay Shah, bringing this another Facebook Live. We have been talking about weight loss, so please watch the YouTube segments, segment 1 to 30. This is segment number 31. So let's start talking about weight loss. There was a question about benefits of intermittent fasting and benefits of water only fasting. Intermittent fasting is the process where you eat within 8 to 12-hour window during the day. Intermittent fasting has been going on for thousands of years. As we all know, until a few hundred years ago, people mostly ate during the sun time. That means when the sun came out in the morning, people started eating, and when sunset happened, people stopped eating. So most people were doing 12 to 14, 16 hours of fasting throughout for last thousands of years. It's only over last 60 or 70 years where people are eating pretty much throughout the whole day, and that's partly because of obviously invention of electricity and many of the appliances in the kitchen and staying up late at night watching TV and eating. So intermittent fasting has been resurfacing over last 5 to 10 years. Intermittent fasting not only helps to lose weight, but it also has many other benefits. Same with water only fasting. Water only fasting actually helps you to speed up the weight loss, but also has many other benefits. So, what are the other benefits other than the weight loss with intermittent fasting and water only fasting? Number one, it helps you to go into autophagy. Autophagy is a process where body and body cells clear out the old semi-dead organelles in some of the parts of the cell. It also clears out the precancerous cells. It also clears out the senescent cells. So autophagy, clearing out precancerous cells, clearing out senescent cells, it also happens with intermittent fasting and water-only fasting. Both intermittent fasting and water-only fasting improves your sleep. And as we all know, improvement in sleep helps the weight loss, even helps to live long, and helps with many other benefits. Intermittent fasting and water only fasting also helps to prevent the prediabetes and diabetes and also Alzheimer disease. Intermittent fasting and water only fasting also prevents many cancers. So there are a lot of benefits of intermittent fasting and water only fasting which goes beyond the weight loss. And that's the reason, even though we are talking about weight loss in this seminar, if you do intermittent fasting and water only fasting, there will be significant other benefits also. So I highly recommend intermittent fasting and I highly recommend water only fasting. I've covered both of them in previous segments, so please watch previous segments. Please watch segment one. Segment one has been watched now 1100 times. Segment two has been watched almost 200 times. So watch all the segments. This is segment number 31. Watch all the 30 segments when you have time. If you are serious about weight loss, watching this 30 segments is must. It covers my knowledge of last 40 years, reading at least 30 or 40 books on weight loss, watching thousands of videos, listening to many audio books, reading many textbooks, and attending many weight loss medical seminars. So please watch all 30 segments. Lots of tips, lots of ideas, lots of recommendations. Next question was for a male who are listening, or for the female who also are having male in their life, erectile dysfunction becomes a major issue with obesity. Erectile dysfunction and visceral fat can lead to, obesity and visceral fat can lead to erectile dysfunction. As people start losing weight, erectile dysfunction start to improve, and that's a major benefit of weight loss to many men. Um, Actually, whole food, plant-based food with a low saturated fat improves erectile function in few days. There was a study done where athletes were given fatty food, pretty much burgers from fast food restaurant, and their erectile function got significantly worse next morning. So again, eating any kind of saturated fat, any kind of fatty meal, any kind of fast food meal will hamper your erectile function for a man, and that can be improved with whole food, plant-based, no oil diet. I also want to cover a little bit about blue zones. Uh, when it comes down to obesity, We need people in the world who we can mimic, how we can be lean, how we can be healthy, how we can live long, and how we can be happy. And there is nothing better than reading and following blue zones. I'm sure many of you are aware of blue zones. Blue zones are the zones which were defined by Dan Buettner, I believe in 2002, that where people in that part of the world lived very long, lived healthy, and lived happy. And the five blue zones, which are defined by Dan Buettner, one of them is in America. So it's right in our backyard in Loma Linda, California, Seven-day Adventist vegan group, Seven-day Adventist people. So we have already a group of people in America who are living long, living healthy, living happy. So when people say that we cannot be like blue zone, that's not true. Right in America, we have a blue zone. So we can be like the blue zone in America. The other blue zones include Icaria, Greece, Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica, Sardinia, Italy, and Okinawa, Japan. The characteristic of these blue zones are they have plant predominant food. They are not necessarily vegan, but 90% of the calorie come from plant-based food. They are very minimal dairy, very minimal animal products. They use animal products pretty much once a week, or even sometimes once or twice a month. They do have dairy at times, but also in a very small amount. They move every hour. They sleep 7 to 8 hours. They have a downshift. That means they take time to relax. They have siesta time. They have time to nap. They have time to relax. They have time to socialize. They eat up to 80% stomach is full. They're very lean. Their average body mass index BMI is around 21 or 22. And I've been explaining to you that if you want to live long, body mass index of 25 is not adequate. We need to bring down BMI to 21 or 22. So, living long, living healthy, preventing many chronic disease, reversing many chronic disease, one needs to be at BMI of 21 or 22. Obviously, you can calculate your BMI by online calculator by plugging in your height and weight. So if you have not done that, please go ahead and do that as soon as you can and calculate your BMI. If your BMI is above 30, you need to start losing weight in a healthy way as soon as you can to prevent many chronic disease. Obviously, everything takes time. Losing weight is a long journey. It's not a sprint. It's almost like a long ultra marathon. It may take 1 year, 2 year, even 3 year to get down to BMI of 22, and for Indians, BMI of 20 or 21. So again, it takes time to lose weight. So be patient. Lose about 1 to 2 pounds per week. If you are very overweight, like 300 or 400 pounds, you may lose 3 pounds in the beginning, but eventually most people will lose about pound or two a week, and that's a very good pace. If you remember, I've been telling you that Chef AJ lost her 54 pounds in 27 months. So actually, she was losing only about 2 pounds per month, and she looks great now. She's able to maintain it. She has all the good habits of how to maintain the weight loss, and that's a way to do it, slow and steady, with learning all the techniques, having all the knowledge, so that weight doesn't come back, because the statistics says that 999 out of 1,000 people gain the weight back what they've lost, and sometimes even more pounds come back. So to prevent the weight coming back, you need to learn the science. You need to make this as a lifestyle, not a crash diet, not a fad diet, not just a temporary fix. We need to make it as a lifestyle for lifelong commitment. Also, blue zones people in general eat minimum or no processed food. One of the major reasons blue zones have done well is because of lot less processed food than standard American diet. As we all know, standard American diet has a 65% processed food. And processed food is the reason obesity, diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, high blood pressure, many chronic disease can happen. So again, we need to eliminate the processed food if you want to be like the blue zone. Also, like I said, minimum animal products, definitely no more than 10% calories from animal products. That's what the blue zones do. So we need to do the same thing. Seven-day Adventist group in Loma Linda, most of them are vegan, and actually the vegan Seven-day Adventists do a lot better than people vegan than a carnivore Seventh-day Adventist people. So again, vegan Seventh-day Adventists have the longest living people in America. They live about 10 years longer than an average American. Again, Seventh-day Adventist vegan people live about 10 years longer than an average American, and they are healthier for many, many decades after an average American. Average American start to have more than 3 or 4 chronic disease by age 60, 65, and many of them are on 5 to 10 medications. Some of them are on up to 10 to 15 medications. In my own practice, I surveyed some of the, I tracked some of the Medicare population, and above age 65, most of the people are on at least 8 to 10 medications. Some of them are on 15 medications. So if you want to prevent many chronic disease, reverse many chronic disease, not get on multiple, very expensive medications, you need to prevent the obesity, be lean, have a body mass index of 22 for Americans, for white and African American, and 20 to 21 for Indian and South Asians and Asians. So again, it's very important. We try to learn about Blue Zone. There are a lot of books written on Blue Zone. There are a lot of YouTube videos about Blue Zone. So please listen to different information about Blue Zones and start following what they are doing. Um, I also recently listened to a video where Dr. McDougall's program was summarized into 10 items. Dr. McDougall, I'm sure many of you know John Mcdougall, is very, very a senior physician and internist in California. He was in Hawaii in his early part of his career. Now he's in California for the last 30 some years. He has written many books. He's a big proponent of starch in our diet to stay lean. And I think I follow him. Very, very intelligent, very successful physician as a promoter of whole food, plant-based, no oil lifestyle. And listening to him is definitely a good thing to do. He also has a 10-day residential program where a person or a couple stays in a hotel, eats the food what their center makes, takes the daily lectures, almost 4 to 6 hours of lectures, a lot of exercise, a lot of meditation. I think that program costs anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000. He also has a now similar program which is online now for I believe $2,000, where you do it for about a month or so. There are daily lectures, there are uh, daily login and daily call-in information. You get a private coaching, private tutoring. They give you recipes to make for the day, and that program is worth looking into if you can afford it. I believe it's about $2,000 for 1 month of online coaching program. So look into that, John McDougall. But let's go through what, if you don't want to do that, let me just give you a summary of his program. And if you do those things, you don't need to attend John McDougall program. And those 10 things what Dr. John McDougall recommends for weight loss. Number one, preload. I've been showing you the preloading every meal is very important. And preload should include glass or two of water. 2 glasses of water is better. That means before you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you drink 1 to 2 glasses of water. Just just drink the water, 1 to 2 glass, or have a very large salad. Bigger the salad, better for you. Or have a fruit, 1 or 2 apple or whatever fruits you like. Before you eat your main meal, any starchy dish or any other food, drink water or eat salad or eat fruit. Just preload. Number one. Number two, fill up your plate half with green vegetables, cooked or raw green vegetables, and other half with starch, either starchy vegetables or intact grain items. And then also have some beans, legumes, and lentils on the plate. No salt and sugar and oil. So no salt, sugar, and oil. No animal products. No nuts, seeds, and avocado. Again, no oil. No flour. That means no bread. No dry fruits. No popcorn. No any calorie dense food. No soda, no diet soda or no juice, no overeating or no starving. That means eating only when you are hungry and eating only up to 80% full, eating slowly, chewing longer, eating at the dining table and enjoying the meal, being mindful with what you eat, and essentially eating only 80% full. And last thing was 30 minutes of exercise. If you do this thing, you will start losing 1 to 3 pounds per week. Definitely 1 pound per week, up to 3 pounds per week if you start at a very high weight. So again, you can easily lose 1 to 3 pounds per week only if you follow these 10 simple things. I've been teaching and I've been showing all these 10 things again and again on my previous segments. If you're watching this right now, please share on your page. Please go and have comments and questions, and I will answer every comment and every question as you have. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you are watching this on YouTube, please go and like our Facebook page, Healthy Living with Dr. Ajay Shah. YouTube channel is also Healthy Living with Dr. Ajay Shah. Next thing I want to talk about is this food addiction. As we know, food addiction is a real thing. People are addicted to smoking or nicotine. People are addicted to alcohol. People are addicted to different drugs. People are addicted to shopping. There are all different types of addiction. But many people don't realize that food addiction is also a real thing. Almost every human has a potential to get addicted to the food. If you look at the nature never has combination of salt, oil, and sugar. Most natural food have either one or maximum two out of the three items: salt, oil, and sugar. Salt, oil, and sugar are very, very addictive. Particularly sugar, they actually stimulate our dopamine receptor, dopamine center, and make you addicted to it. So if you look at the apple typically has a sugar, but minimal or no oil, minimum or no salt. If you look at the oat groat typically has sugar, but no oil and no salt. If you look at any green vegetables may have very small amount of salt, but mostly a sugar and typically no oil. If you look at beans may have sugar in terms of carbohydrate, but may not have oil, may not have salt. So all the natural food typically do not have all three: oil, salt, and sugar. If you look at the processed food, which is designed by these companies and factories because they know that they can hijack our brain by giving us the addicted food. Most processed food have all three in there because all three are very, very addicting. It essentially actually hijacks your brain, it hijacks your senses in terms of staying addicted to their products and their processed food. So if you look at a lot of the ice creams even have salt. You would think that why would a salt will need to be in ice cream? But that's partly because they wanted to stay addicted to their product. Coke, even just simple Coke, has a sugar and salt in there. Coke has a salt in there. Why would a Coke salt in there? Because people stay addicted to the Coke. So again, a lot of the processed food have all three: salt, oil, and sugar, and that's the reason food addiction happens. Food addiction is a real thing. There is a book by Doug Lyle and Alan Goldhammer called Pleasure Trap. It's worth reading that book. That book clearly shows that food addiction is the real thing. To overcome the food addiction, you need to go off the processed food at least 2 or 3 weeks. Your taste buds will start to change. You will start to appreciate sweetness and saltiness into natural food. Even though natural food has a very low amount of those things, you start to appreciate the taste of salt and sugar. You start to appreciate the low calorie dense food. Our brain, our genes are designed to eat high calorie dense food because up to 500 to 300, 400 years ago, definitely up to 1,000 years ago, food was in scarcity and we never knew when we will get food. Definitely 15, 20,000 years ago in those savanna jungles, a lot of humans did not get food for a day or two or three. So whenever they had access to food, they automatically reached out for high calorie dense food. That means a lot of calories per pound. So that way, in case if they don't get food for next few days, they will still survive. So our genes, our body, our brain is designed to reach out for calorie dense food. So when we try to go from our natural tendency to eat high calorie dense food to low calorie dense food, it becomes very hard. The environment today in our society, not just in America, but throughout the whole world, has access to a lot of calorie dense food. Every gas station now sells pizzas and candies and cookies and milkshakes and protein bars and other nuts and other things. So every intersection has a fast food selling very highly calorie dense food. So access to calorie dense food has become very, very easy. Every house also has a lot of calorie dense food. So to go away from calorie dense food, we need to fool our receptors in the stomach. I explain you that there are three types of receptors in the stomach. Caloric receptor, which senses how many calories the stomach is getting; stretch receptor, how much the stomach is getting stretched; and micronutrient receptors, how many micronutrients our body or stomach is getting. If you can satisfy two receptors out of three, hopefully your brain will feel that there is adequate amount of food, adequate volume of food, and we don't need to eat anymore. So if you eat low calorie dense food with a high volume, with lots of food, almost pound to pound and a half, with a lots of micronutrient, then your stomach receptors will be satisfied and you will say, I don't need to eat any more food. So again, I explained this concept, I believe in 2, 3 segments earlier. So what those segments, but try to satisfy your stomach receptors by eating more low calorie dense food and more micronutrient dense food. Uh, Also, I've been explaining since segment 2 and segment 3 that we cannot rely on our willpower. We need to create an environment where no matter how tired we are, no matter how, what our emotional state is, the environment will carry us. That means cleaning out your pantry, cleaning out your refrigerator, cleaning out your kitchen, cleaning out your doors at the work desk, cleaning out your car, everything where there is a unhealthy food, you essentially just throw them away. And when you enter the house in the evening after a long day at work, have access only to healthy food. Batch cook so that way your refrigerator is always filled with healthy food. So when you come home after a long day, you can open the refrigerator and can have access to quick, healthy food that where you can just sit and eat and enjoy. So again, always be prepared, always be proactive, always create an environment so you don't have to worry about relying on your willpower. As I explained before, that every day we make thousands of decisions per day and we get decision fatigue by the evening, and that's when we make some of the poor decisions and poor choices when it comes down to eating and doing some of the other activities, including not exercising and not going to sleep on time. So again, decision fatigue is a real thing. So if you create an environment, chances that you will make the right decisions, even though you are suffering from decision fatigue. Um, when it comes down to food addiction, many times it's almost easier to create 100% abstinence. Like Chef AJ says, that for her and for me too, actually, for most of us, it's easy to be 100% abstinence than in moderation. Moderation many times actually doesn't work because it starts with a small amount, just like nuts. You cannot ever eat nuts with a small amount. Many times nuts starts with a small amount and you end up eating 300-400 calories of nuts. So many times if you are in the business of losing weight, eliminating nuts for time being is the right thing to do. You can just have 2 tablespoons of flaxseed and that's adequate amount of omega-3 you need per day. So again, moderation many times doesn't work and 100% abstinence is the right thing to do. Uh, So I'm going to start here. Go ahead and ask me questions and have comments. This will be on YouTube. Please share this on your page. Please go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Watch segment 1 to segment 30 and then watch segment 31 also on YouTube. And I will be back hopefully tomorrow. I think I'll do 2 lives tomorrow, both on weight loss, and then we'll continue with our journey on the weight loss. Let me know if any of you are watching all the segments and have started a program and have lost any weight, have reversed the blood pressure, have reversed the diabetes, or the sugars are getting better, or your pants are feeling better, or if you're losing visceral fat, if your scale is telling you that your body fat is coming down, you are sleeping better, you're exercising better, give me feedback so I know that whatever you are learning, you are implementing and it is working for you. Have a great evening. Eat healthy, exercise, sit in the sauna if you have access to, spend time with your family, spend time with your spouse, Enjoy, relax, do some meditation, and see you tomorrow. Thank you.